and welcome to Old Faithful. I'm your host, Matt Trask. My thanks to Perfect Wave Productions. Steve and Jay down here making me look good on this beautiful spring day. I'm so excited to be wearing the chambray shirt. And literally threes of people ask me where I get these, and I'm quite happy to answer that question. I get them at A&J Supply in Whitewood, South Dakota. You can order neck and sleeve size to get a shirt that fits you exactly.
Yeah, very cool.
I absolutely love these things. Please support my friends at Black Hills Blend Espresso. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matthew Trask. And please, when Perfect Wave Productions starts their YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe to their YouTube channel. I am so excited, you guys. Mr. Luke Schleussner.
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
No, but no one does, so it's okay.
My apologies, and educate us.
Schleissner.
Schleissner.
Yeah,
Okay.
Schleissner. Yeah.
Mr. Luke Schleussner
Yeah.
of the fabulous Black Hills band No Exit.
Yes, sir.
I walked into Murphy's Pub here in Rapid City, where my good friends in No Exit were playing, well, my one good friend at the time. And I met three more good friends, the other members of No Exit. And I saw this guitar, and I was absolutely in love. And then this guy said, "Hey, do you know Chase Arneson?" Well, of course I know Chase Arneson. A little tiny backstory. I am, once again, from Elm Springs, South Dakota, a magical place. And Chase Arneson grew up in Elm Springs, South Dakota. We were a few years apart, but we did go to school together for a while. So that's enough of me pretending to be a star. Why don't you tell us about you, buddy?
Well, what would you like to know?
Well, whatever you would like to tell us about, with emphasis perhaps on your musical journey.
I started off as a drummer.
Okay.
Actually, and
That's becoming a common theme here on the show.
People starting off as drummers.
Right. Yes.
So that's where I kind of just began, because I was very physical.
Right.
I just like to beat things up.
Right.
And then doing it in a rhythm is
Sure.
fantastic. So I cut my teeth on Beatles and Sabbath records, a lot of Zeppelin, the big ones.
Okay.
And then I eventually, when I was in my 20s, decided to move to guitar. I don't know why.
Okay.
It seemed to be more of an expressive instrument. You could get more across
Right.
to people. So
Yeah.
I just kind of gave up the drums. Plus, hauling drums to gigs
It's a booger.
it's for the birds.
Right. It really is.
So, yeah, that's half the reason why I gave it up. I'll be dead honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
We should, at this point, give due credit and gratitude to the drummer of No Exit
Oh yes, that's
for hauling the drums around for us.
Yep.
What's his name?
Daniel.
Daniel. I knew that.
He's actually my kid brother.
I forgot. He is.
Yeah, he's my youngest brother. Yeah.
Daniel Schleussner, we're going to have you on the show. So, let's see here. So you said you cut your teeth on Beatles and Black Sabbath records.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you had a kit, maybe in your bedroom
Yes.
or the basement?
In the basement, yes,
Okay.
which was the bedroom. you know.
Okay.
I always went with Ludwig's 3-piece kits. I like to have two floor toms and one top tom. Bigger sizes, because
Sure.
that boom, like Bonzo had the big boom in his drumming, and then
Okay.
Keith Moon did it a little bit as well. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that deep resonant sound of the drums, like
all right.
cannons,
It might have been why you decided rather quickly you didn't want to haul them around.
Yeah.
Because they were so big.
I actually didn't put that together until just now. I appreciate that. So actually, my taste in the sound of the drums led to my demise as a drummer.
Sometimes you want to give up a little of that resonance for ease of mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Which leads us to a lot of discussions, but back to, so you would put like the Beatles or Black Sabbath on, I want to say record, it probably wasn't a record, CD,
CDs.
tape, something,
Yeah, and I had
MP3.
the big 90s, Boss Stitch or what have you, headphones, and I just put them in and crank it all up, and it didn't do wonders for my hearing.
No, I don't suppose it did.
No, but it did. I developed quickly.
Okay.
Because it was just being immersed in the sound,
Sure.
and actually almost drowning out my own drumming. But
Well, that was what I was going to ask you. So you had the recording blasting in your ears through headphones,
Yeah.
and you were playing acoustic drums,
Yeah.
really, how could you hear what you were doing?
Just it's about body. You could feel it.
Okay.
You could feel the rhythm.
Oh,
And
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so I was unencumbered by my own playing, and I didn't have to
Right.
concentrate on it. I just concentrated on the rhythm of the song.
Okay.
I just got to kind of move with it, and I just got better over time.
I see.
So-
But it did work.
I think so.
Yeah. But did you later discover that in feeling the beat and doing it that way, that you had just instinctively done it at times very differently than the recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Particularly with this is going to sound funny because I think Ringo's never placed in a category of someone like Mitch Mitchell or John Bonham or anybody like
Sure.
that. But Ringo was incredibly tasteful and creative with his drumming.
Right.
So much so that you kind of lose the simplicity of it goes away once you really start to concentrate on what he was doing.
Right.
And he was, I think he doesn't get enough credit, to be honest with you.
Well, that sure could be. Yeah.
It'd be hard to be in a band, though, with Paul McCartney and John Lennon and Harrison and get a little bit of attention.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
A guy who just does his job and does it well is always underappreciated.
Yes.
Will always be underappreciated.
That's
Freddie
right.
Green, Ringo Starr, Steve Cropper, all those guys.
Yep.
Malcolm Young comes to mind.
There you go.
We're getting quite a ways afield. So, how old are you now?
I'm 38.
You're 38.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been playing guitar a while.
Yeah, about 14, 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first guitar? Was there one in the house?
No.
No.
It was a hammer. I couldn't even tell you the model, but
Okay.
it was just a hammer guitar.
Okay.
It was like a copy of a Strat.
Would that have been Hamer by any chance?
Yes, hammer.
Okay.
See, that's how well I know it. Brand.
Was it American made?
That's a couple beers ago.
Okay,
That's
all right.
a couple brain cells ago.
American made hamers, excuse me, now he's got me doing it, are worth something today.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Dude, I think I sold that to someone for $20.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it wasn't an American made hammer. So
Hope not.
you like wandered into Haggerty's Music Works or somewhere looking for some new tom heads and you saw this hammer on the wall?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was looking at it going, that's a lot less to haul around.
Right.
Should give that a shot.
Yeah.
And
I wonder how resonant this thing is. Yeah.
it was a pawn shop. I think it was
Okay.
a pawn shop somewhere on East North. Yeah. Just
Okay,
right
sure.
in
Most of them are on East North here in Rapid City.
there.
Yeah.
So it was a $110 purchase.
Sure.
Yep.
You bet. So then you take it home. So it was a hammer, so it was electric.
Yep.
Did you also buy an amplifier?
No, I borrowed one from a friend.
Oh, you borrowed one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're smarter than most of us, actually. Borrow one for a while, save a little money. So did you play it for even a day or two, just unplugged, just screwing around with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, I was,
Just sit there with the unplugged pawn shop electric, just trying it out.
trying to make noise that made sense.
Sure. Okay.
Trying to put notes together that actually.
Okay. Coming from the drums, number one, did you immediately gravitate to its percussive ability?
Yes.
And number two, did your hands look possessed?
It's a really good question. I had to calm down
Right.
because I couldn't articulate anything.
Right. Sure.
When you're doing scales, it's not
Right.
you can't. It's not
Right,
this.
right,
So
yes.
I literally had to kind of reapproach how I was going to play music, how I was
Right.
going to let music come out of me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And my hands looked a little possessed. They looked a little weird sometimes.
Right. Well, I asked that because, and I'll spare you the entire story, but at one point I came to realize that I was a left-handed guitarist. After 14 years of trying to play right-handed, the way that all y'all play. And so I bought a Harmony, like, it looked like a melted SG. It was upside down. I had them string it backwards. They just recovered it. It had been stolen on Walkabout for 2 years, and I bought it. I said, put the strings on upside down. They wanted $75 for it at Marble Music and Archery in Chadron, Nebraska. And then I bought an $800 twin reverb amplifier, because that's what you do as a brand new guitarist, of course. So I had my $75 guitar into my $800 amplifier. Makes a lot of sense.
Sure does.
And I had played, this way. And the only thing that I had was an obnoxious vibrato in my left hand. That was all I had as a guitarist. Like, trying to ape B.B. King, but it was just obnoxious as all get out. And so I had the guitar this way, and I would hit a note, and this hand would just fall off the fretboard. And this hand would start doing this. And that went on for like months. Was why I asked that question, if you look possessed, because I did. I'm glad nobody was watching. So anyway, back to you. So then you're playing guitar. How long till we got you on the stage?
Oh, it would have been probably about a year.
A year, so
Maybe.
not too long.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
Okay, sure.
Just would pick up a local house party
Okay.
type thing or
Sure.
that type of thing. Yeah.
Right. With the Hamer and the borrowed amplifier?
No, the Hamer didn't last long.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had it for just, a brief spell, maybe 3 months
Okay.
best.
All
And then I
right.
got rid of it, and you know how you do, you try to move up, try to trade in, and then
I
give a
know
little
how
bit
you
of
do.
a-
Yes. Yes, I do.
And then it went to a Squire Telecaster.
Okay.
And
All
it
right.
was a blue, and I actually still have it to this day.
Okay.
It's completely ripped apart. There's no electronics in it. I don't even think I have a nut on it or even a bridge. But
Really?
I still have it, and I'm planning on turning into it a slide guitar.
Hey, cool.
Because it's like an $80 Squire, It
Right.
it doesn't.
Right.
But I have love for it. It's my
Right.
first. It's my first real guitar.
So we gonna talk more about this guitar here, but very quickly we decided we were kind of a Telly guy.
Yeah.
The Hamer, I'm guessing, looked something like this.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
And it probably had double humbuckers like this guitar.
Yep.
And cutaways and stuff, kind of a shred machine.
Mm-hmm.
And was the first Telly, was that a standard like country configuration? Or did it have humbuckers in it?
It was a standard country. It was actually a single pickup.
Was it an Esquire?
Excuse me, a humbucker.
Oh,
it was
okay.
just a single, and I think that's all it had. I could look at it
Okay.
when I get home, and then I'll just get back to you. How does that sound? Yeah.
Right. Had we bought an amplifier at this point? Or we were still using the borrowed one?
I kept borrowing from people, and I wasn't a tone chaser. I've never really been a tone
Okay,
chaser.
all right.
The older I get, the more I appreciate chasing
Sure.
tone. But I think first amp I borrowed was a 2x12 crate.
Okay.
Just a solid
Right.
state. You turn it on and crank everything up to 10
And
and
go.
just let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started playing like Nirvana,
Sure.
stuff like that. A lot of punk
Right.
as well, because that's what you can,
Right. Absolutely.
So that was super simple, and so I just kind of started doing that.
Sure. I want to say here at this point how lucky you are to not be a tone chaser. That is a blessing that you should always appreciate.
I understand what you mean.
So how long, I'm guessing it happened rather quickly that you were comfortable as a guitarist, kind of considering yourself a guitarist?
I think I just wanted it really
Okay.
bad because I got into it kind of haphazardly, like I said,
Right.
just
Yeah.
kind of giving it a shot, and then once I started to be able to connect the dots and make sense of the fretboard and
Right.
everything, then it became an obsession.
Right.
And it
Okay.
became all about figuring out my voice on the fretboard.
Sure.
You know?
Okay. So you mentioned Nirvana and a lot of punk because it was kind of easy power chord stuff.
Yes.
That's where we all start. Who else were your early influences?
Oof, let's see here. So I grew up in a household. My mother listened to a lot of. She was a rock and roll type
Okay.
lady. So there was a ton of Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, like bands even like Mason Prophet, a lot of Neil Young.
Okay.
But there was no like Seals and Croft. There's
Okay.
nothing like that going on. But
Sure.
she was also huge into Sly and the Family Stone and Michael Jackson.
Oh,
so I got
okay.
a lot of the Motown Detroit stuff going on, as
Right.
well as this just hard English rock,
Right.
the precursor to heavy metal.
Right.
So I kind of, I was just saturated with that as a kid. And
Right.
so those people became my influences.
Okay. All right. So a lot of rhythm, actually.
A lot of rhythm, yeah.
A lot of, and very good rhythm that
Yeah.
we were listening to.
A lot of moving and shaking.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, do we need to talk about this guitar now? I think we kind of do.
Sure. As I said, I'm not much of a tone chaser, and so the intricacies of instruments and amplifiers I'm not 100% versed on. But it's got a rosewood fretboard. It's ash body. And the only this is a Squire model.
Right.
But the only difference from John Five's mouth
Right.
is that the tuning pegs and the pickups are different.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's different from the Fender to the Squire model.
Okay,
So I
sure.
opted for the Squire because it's like, $1,000 cheaper.
Right.
So
Yes. He said the magic words, John 5. This is, in fact, the budget price, John 5 Telecaster.
Yep.
John 5, when you get done watching my episode of Old Faithful, and thank you, check out John 5 if you don't know who he is. He was, for years, the sideman to none other than Rob Zombie, so that will give many of you a mental picture. However, the man is a master of all styles of guitar, and as a kid, absolutely idolized Buck Owens from the show Hee Haw, and became a Telecaster fan as a young kid watching Hee Haw, probably on the living room floor. I would love to have John 5 on the show, quite obviously. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, John 5 owns a Telecaster from every year of production. So we're talking about a guy with more money than us.
yes,
Right.
lot more money.
Sure.
And he's well connected too. So I
He
suppose you can
is.
find
Yeah,
those things.
sure, you bet. So did you, oh my goodness, we're going to have to talk about that later, but did you purchase this guitar because of the endorsement or just because of the guitar?
I was kind of a Telly fan. As you know, Jimmy Page started on a Telly
He
in
did.
Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
The gift from Jeff Beck, the Dragon.
Absolutely.
And that old footage of them playing it was black and white. I was like, oh, that's the coolest looking guitar ever. And I saw Rob Zombie when he came through with Ozzy. I
Okay.
think. And that was the first time I saw John 5 on stage. And I was, what is this? Look at that guitar. This is beautiful. And that the next day,
Right.
even hungover, I went right to the guitar store and I looked and they had a Fender Squire Strat
Okay.
with the chrome pickguard
Okay.
and the black paint job, and I bought it.
Oh.
Just because I was that obsessed with just the look of
Right, sure.
the black and the chrome.
Right.
But this I got probably, I've had this for maybe 6 years.
Okay.
What's really fascinating about this guitar is there's no tone knob. It's just the volume for both pickups.
Oh!
So if you can you can use your
Thank
as a
you
key
for
switch.
pointing that out. Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty versatile little instrument. Yeah.
What I started to exclaim about a few minutes ago here on the show, most of the time, do you mind if I reach over?
Oh, please.
There is a pickup selector switch here on this control plate.
Right.
This does have some elements of, say, a Gibson Les Paul, in that the pickup selector switch is up here.
Yeah.
And something that they borrowed from Gibson on this guitar is the independent volume controls, so that you can turn one down and have that kill effect.
Yep.
Does he, I thought on some of his models there was an actual kill switch, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I'm sure there's a lot of custom stuff
Right.
that he does, and someone like Jack White from the
Right.
White Straps, they do that. They build guitars
Right.
or have luthiers build them, and
Sure.
and so they have all sorts of tricks and such. But I'm a believer in the KISS method.
Right?
So the Squire model, because it was cheaper, and then I really just enjoyed just turning the knobs, and,
Right.
and there it goes. You don't have to mess with any of your any of your treble or any of your bass, and you
Sure.
don't have to screw with any of it. And then I liked the idea of that pickup selector not being there. I don't know why.
Right.
It just feels different to not have anything there, and I like it better.
Well, that's a matter of personal taste, but I can tell you that I occasionally will scrape my fingers on the pickup selector down there. There.
Then it's you can just
Right.
you can just move instead of having to actually
Yes.
do it this way. It's actually fluid with the way you're picking anyway.
So you bought this partly because of the artist, John Five.
Yep.
Have you fallen in love in the intervening 6 years with the guitar itself?
Yes.
More and more.
So much so that I don't play any other electric.
You don't?
No, this is the guitar. I practice
Wow.
on this. I it's like my weapon. I treat it as a weapon.
Do you still have the Strat?
No, that went away.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you when that went away.
Okay.
I think the minute I got this, everything else just.
We were done.
Yep.
Okay. Have we purchased a backup?
We have not.
I hate to bring this up, but you kind of need, or at least a neck.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
You should probably buy a neck and keep it in the closet, or in the gear trailer. I would say.
Very true. It's just a bolt-on.
Sure. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. So it's super easy to mess with. I did the intonation myself.
Okay.
And it's just a really wonderful guitar. I can't speak enough about the simplicity of it and how well it's crafted.
Right.
It plays better. It's got the C profile neck with the 25.5, 22 frets, and it just plays like a dream.
Right. Yeah.
And I've had it for the 7 years. I've not done a thing to it.
Really.
I've not messed with this thing at all, except for setting it up to my specs.
Right. Sure.
To my feel.
Those look like pretty big frets. Were they the biggest frets you had ever encountered?
No.
No, they weren't.
And I couldn't tell you what on. Maybe a Les Paul at some point in time.
Okay.
Or
all right.
Or a different telly that I was trying out, like a different model.
Sure.
But yeah, these are big, and I think it's just I've gotten used to it now. So
Right.
switching to other guitars
Sure.
that don't have the jumbo frets are
Right. Yeah.
it's a little difficult to play.
So, about tone chasing and keeping it simple, there is value to not having a tone potentiometer in there. It's one less thing to adulterate sound, so to
Right.
speak. However, do you miss having a tone knob?
No, I actually don't.
You don't?
Yep, this is perfect for me.
Really?
And I think it's just because I've had it so long.
Right?
That I've just become such a it's my horse.
Right.
It's my
Sure.
chariot. It's
So
my thing.
I love that you keep saying stuff like that. We haven't mentioned that it's double bound, which everybody loves a double bound telly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just your guitar.
Yep.
And you love it to death.
I do. Yeah.
We probably better get to the amplifier.
Yes. So this is actually a newer purchase for me. It's an orange 120,
Okay.
a CR 120. So it's 120 watts. It's solid state.
It is.
It's
Okay.
2-channel, 3-band. It's got 16 ohms that it puts out, and it's configured for a 2x12.
Okay.
And configured for that specific orange cab. And so 2x12. I think it's got it's British made.
Right.
So I think it's got the vintage 30s in it.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I actually bought that from a guy in town. The cab, he hadn't been using it. It's just sitting there. So anywho, that's about a month and a half old.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Before I was running out of just a Marshall that my kid brother owned.
Oh.
I have a tendency to borrow things from people.
You do. I noticed. You're very smart and kind of lucky.
That or bad with money. My wife will attest to that too.
Right. Sure.
But it's got a heck of a lot of power to it. And the interesting thing about the Crush, why I went with that, is because the more you turn the volume up, particularly on the gain channel, it reacts as if it's a tube amp.
Okay.
So
sure.
it's really got a lot of voicings modeled off of the orange tube amps.
Sure. Yeah.
But at a solid state price.
Sure. Right.
And
exactly.
There's so much less maintenance.
And
with
with
the
solid state reliability.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I mean, you can drop it and do all
Right.
sorts of stuff
Yes.
and turn it right on and it goes.
There are in the guitar world a lot of cork sniffers who will frown upon a solid state amplifier. Number one, they are cheaper. Number two, they are more reliable. Number three, a good solid state amplifier really does have its own thing
Yeah.
that can easily be appreciated. A very good sound, and the Lab series comes to mind. My favorite, the Polytone.
Okay.
I love both of those. The Peavies, I grew up listening to solid state Peavies, So in some ways, my ear was kind of trained to solid state amplifiers,
Did you ever use the practice PV Bandits? Those were they were wonderful. They're like little, I don't know, 60 watt amps.
Right.
Yeah, just tiny.
Yes, I did. I bought one for my daughter actually, and I used it way more than she ever. Yeah, she did not know what she had. Really.
Right.
Yeah, I loved it to death. Yeah, absolutely. So back to this. Did we like this immediately? Have we fallen in love with this amplifier like we did the guitar?
No.
No.
So I have no beef with it.
Okay.
But now I'm gonna totally indict myself. I said I wasn't a tone chaser, and
Right.
here I am becoming a tone chaser. It's my old age.
Love it. We are here for it.
So the thing about that is I've had to toy with it an awful lot.
Right.
In the band that I'm in, we do a lot of variety of covers, as you've heard.
Sure.
Everything from Amy Winehouse to Michael Jackson to
Right.
Cream, like
Right.
an old B-side Cream,
Right.
cover. So the tone, the variety and range of tone that I'm looking for,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't quite narrowed it down. It's not in my crosshairs yet.
Okay.
But it's getting there the more I use it. However, I live in an apartment.
Oh, sure.
So
Gotcha.
that doesn't go with...
Difficult.
Yep. The only time I play with it is in practice and shows.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard to get a real solid clutch on it. And plus I use pedals as well.
Right. Absolutely. We're going to get to the pedals in a second, which you did not bring, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Have you found that you have to... you find yourself monkeying with it more in performance because what you liked
Yep.
in rehearsal and at home does not translate to the stage.
Yeah, everything from the size of the room you're in to the acoustics,
Right.
The
Sure.
resonance of the room. And then, as when you go out and you play live,
Sure.
most places there's room to dance. There's room to, so you're not
Sure.
in that garage anymore,
Right.
that basement.
Right.
So everything changes. Your dynamics change.
And then the sound will change from the empty room to the full room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over the course of the night. So all of a sudden
Right.
you're
Yes.
towards the end of the night when people are a little bit more loose.
Right.
And such, you're going, my tone sucks. Like, what happened? Like 2 hours ago was just fine.
Sure. Yeah.
Like a little fairy came and changed it.
Do you have, this is very important, and you are quickly becoming a tone chaser, sir. Do you have someone, a set of ears you trust, to come to shows and say, Luke, stop messing with it?
No.
No?
Okay, so I lean heavily on my bass player.
Okay.
He's Cody Pitt. He's got a very good ear for things like
Okay,
that, and
right.
he grew up. His dad is a local musician,
Right.
very well known guy, and did sound production for
Mm-hmm.
years and years and years. So I rely on him an awful lot to go, hey, is it a
Right.
little too tinny?
Right.
Do I need a little bit more bottom end? Blah 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 blah. And he'll tell me, but we're so busy setting up usually the actual PA
Right.
that I'm just.
Sure.
Yep. Don't always get to it, is what I mean.
We love nerdy questions. Do you, most of the time live, do you mic it? Do you mic the cab? Or
Depending on where we
usually-
are.
Okay.
So
All right.
if it's a bigger place and they would like that,
Right.
because some of the house PA guys they
Sure.
they like to control everything,
Right. Yeah.
which is greatly appreciated. It's better than
Right.
us,
Right.
doing it. But yeah.
So where do you like the mic, or do you let them mic it?
I'll usually let them mic it.
Okay.
They're supposed to be professionals,
Sure. Yeah.
so they I
Right.
trust them.
Right. Well, sometimes, whether or not they're any good, I've found I just love it when somebody else does it. It's not my problem.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
even if I sound bad, it's out of my hands. I can just play and have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing some reverb.
Yep.
Is this from the amp?
Yes, it's got three. It's got the Hall. Hall plate and spring.
Oh wow.
And I choices for reverb.
Okay.
I usually run a lot of reverb. I really like that because you grew up listening to like the Phil Spectors of the world,
Right.
that wall of sound, that
Right.
heavy reverb stuff, and it's just kind of ingrained in my head.
Sure.
So a guitar doesn't sound normal unless
If
it has.
it doesn't have reverb.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it a real spring reverb? Do we know?
I don't think so.
It sounds wonderful. It really does.
Yeah, it really has a,
It's
especially
a
in
nice
this lower.
reverb sound.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
got a really just
Yeah.
beautiful go to it. And I usually run the hall.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
I rarely go switch it off
Sure.
because I get accustomed, to a
Right.
certain tone. So yeah,
Well, Hall is kind of the go-to for rock guitarists, which
Mm-hmm.
you would consider yourself a rock guitarist, I'm guessing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Right.
I,
I somehow think this is the first orange amplifier on the show. Thank you, first John 5 Telecaster, quite obviously, and the first orange amplifier. Orange amplifiers, among other things, are known for having completely indecipherable hieroglyphics above the knobs. But it's their thing. We all love it.
I've never actually paid attention to that too much.
Really?
Yeah, it's got the English underneath it, so
It does have the
It's like,
English
I'll go with
underneath
that.
it, but then like cuneiform weirdness above the knob.
a little bit, yeah.
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 You never noticed that.
I guess not.
He's not a tone chaser again. Okay.
Well,
Cool.
okay, so there's might be a little explanation, there might be a little superfluous
Okay.
of an answer, but I grew up in places where there's a lot of Spanish around, so that the double,
Sure.
on everything there's always
Right.
Spanish and English.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
just find the English, and so I think my eyes are just trained
You,
it.
you just were used to it.
It's like,
Sure.
I recognize what that says, so I'll just go
Right.
with that.
And the other thing about orange amplifiers, they are kind of marketed geared toward higher gain folks.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing this one pedal on the floor has something to do with that.
Yes, it does. So. Yes, it does.
That one pedal does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
Tell us about the pedal board that you bring. with you.
I'm pretty bare bones
Okay.
most of the time. I have, let's see, I'm an electro-harmonics guy.
Okay.
So I love electro-harmonics
Right.
pedals. So I run a Canyon delay,
All
which
right.
has got, I think, 8 different settings where you can mess with.
And a looper, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely a looper.
Yeah.
Good call.
I'm a nerd. We all know this.
That's good. So then I have a Distortion 78
Okay.
pedal, which is going away. I just got an Operation Overlord, which is an overdrive pedal by Electric Harmonics.
Right.
It's got a wide range.
Sure.
Works with the orange a little bit better. Why is that?
Jade's over here laughing at me.
And then I have the Crybaby wah.
Okay. All right.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's all I run. Yeah.
Really? We don't have any transparent overdrive to boost us a little bit or anything like that. Any blues player cliches like that?
No,
No?
but hopefully the Operation Overlord will
Yes, absolutely.
fill that need for me. Yeah.
I was going to make one recommendation to you.
Please.
I'm going to put on my expert hat here. You said you've been chasing your tone a little bit. I recommend that you try an EQ pedal.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many fine options available. I am absolutely in love, and I can do this because they're discontinued, with the DoD FX40B.
Okay.
That's my favorite. They look cool, they work well. But Boss makes a great one, the GE7, and for the guitar player on a budget, Dan Electro actually makes an amazing one.
No, how long do they last?
How long do what last?
Well, the pedals, the EQ pedals, because I've had like bad luck, particularly with delay pedals.
Okay.
How they'll go like a lower end one, you get 12 really good uses out of it, and then
Right.
they'll kind of crap out. And I
Okay.
won't name any brands
Sure.
at all. It's like I'm not doing that. But
Sure. Well, I guess that would depend on a multitude of factors. How how physical are you in performance?
I'm kind of a gorilla.
Okay. I probably recommend that we don't buy the Dan Electro.
Okay.
Because it is in a plastic housing. You will crush it.
But Boss will be metal. It'll be
Boss would
good
be
case.
better. You do have to understand that there are 7 little sliders that they have to be there because that's how you mess with your EQ.
Right.
7-band EQ. So you wouldn't want to use it for karate practice, But they seem to last forever. Yeah.
That's good.
And I mean, if you wanted to go with the Dan Electro one to try it, and then if you found a setting that you liked and it was just a set it and forget it, you could put it like on top of the amplifier, and then hop around, use your Operation Overload as a trampoline, and leave the Dan Electro. Whatever. But you should try it.
It was brought to my attention last performance that we had that Distortion 78 that I had knocked the bottom out of my leads. So I would use it as a lead boost.
Sure. Yeah.
When this would be actually on, I would be able to use it as my
Sure.
as a boost, but it would sound really good to me who's standing right in front of the amp, but
Sure.
to the audience it would just knock out.
Sure.
And so that was brought to my attention.
Okay.
Like, hey, you might want to get a different pedal.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but that's stuff I don't know a lot about.
Right. We're going to get him. He's going to become a tone chaser.
I'll be in here
long.
every other day. I'll be in here bugging you guys for advice. So
I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being on the show.
Greatly appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it a whole bunch. You're going to play us a song, right?
sure.
Some kind of musical performance
Sure.
here at the end. Let me do my little thing here at the end. Remember my sponsorship with Trask Hay LLC, large, round, and square bales, and custom haying operation. I believe I've said this on the show already once, but I just have to do it again. John 5 says, change your strings. Mr. Luke Schleussner, before you get started, you're in the band No Exit.
Yes.
We should talk a little bit about them. Where can we find them on the interwebs?
On the interwebs,
Yeah.
Okay, so I am also bereft when it comes to technological
Right, sure.
stuff. But we're on Facebook, No Exit Blues Rock Band.
Okay.
Facebook. I don't think we have an Instagram or anything like
Okay.
that.
All right.
But we're playing. We got kind of a reoccurring gig at Murphy's.
Oh,
seems to
cool.
be like every month or every other month we're there.
Awesome.
We're playing Main Street Square in July, and then we have a number of private parties that we're doing.
Very
things like
cool.
that. Yeah. It's
So you're around, you're on the scene.
on the scene.
2021, everybody's coming back. We're stretching, coming to life.
That's the hope. That's
Awesome.
The hope. Yeah.
We're looking forward to it, buddy. Okay, give us their performance.
Well, I won't sing anything for you, but so Leenda.
Malagueña's on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You betcha. Thanks for watching. Wow.
Cool, man.
How cool was that?
That was awesome. I totally wasn't even expecting it. I actually didn't even know what to expect.